understanding is even when the officer interviewed you about this offense, you said absolutely nothing about the motor vehicle accident. And this lady's car, or the person in the car, their car was on the roof. Like, was this a case of road rage?
Yeah, at the moment, yeah, I believe so, yes.
I mean, you threatened a pregnant woman. Like, I just.
Oh, I didn't know she was pregnant, ma'am. I don't know the victim I don't know the lady at all.
She was pregnant, and she said that you were talking about her being in your lane. That's the reason to pull a gun out on someone?
I think most of us have been in road rage incidents where maybe even things could have gotten out of hand. This woman ends up in the DOC because she decides to whip out a weapon, one that she owned illegally, as a matter of fact. Now, a very small percentage, maybe just 5%, might recall this hearing, and that's because we played it in June. There's a reason I'm coming back with it. If you already have seen it, feel free to skip ahead to the 24-minute mark, and you'll see why I'm bringing this back. With that, let's jump in.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Morning, Panel Member Page.
Panel Member Rodriguez, good morning.
She is serving a sentence of 3 years and 6 months for threatening, second, evading, and criminal possession of a weapon. Today, records reflect parole eligibility is February 6th, 2024. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender accountability plan. It is reviewed and shows she has not completed any programs as of this time. Utilizing the women's risk needs assessment order, the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the low range. Ms. Lord, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Do you guys mind if I stand up?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Although I've learned from my mistakes, I'm terribly disappointed in myself for my actions, and I take full responsibility and accountability for my poor judgment. I'm extremely remorseful for my victims, their families, myself, my family, and my community. I'm sorry, I'm nervous. Knowing and understanding what I do back then, I wish I would have chosen a different path in life. Things could have been different for me, but I could honestly say being incarcerated has shown me invaluable lessons. I've learned how to cope better, how to communicate without using vulgar language, violence, or being impulsive. I learned to be honest and wise about decisions I make, and also living and maintaining a better life. If granted parole, I intended to start back working full-time, finishing my bachelor's degree in business, and give it back to my community through volunteer work with nonprofit programs for at-risk youth, teens, and adults. I believe all people can grow and learn from any obstacle, and I'm living proof. I've come to see that my generation seems that negativity is the cool thing or the thing to do to be accepted, but I'm here to change and be that voice to let them know that there's other ways and paths to go. I want to be the stepping stone for at-risk youth, teens, and youth, that there's better ways to deal with society than negativity. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Lord, for your statement. We do have questions for you. When we're done with our questions, we'll deliberate and give you our decision.
No
And we'll
problem.
begin with my colleague, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Morning, Ms. Lord.
Good morning.
Thank you for your statement. It's always good to hear, what people, are doing while they're there, and what efforts they're making at making their lives better.
Yeah.
However, I do have some concerns. You didn't do any of your OAP programs.
So as far as my OAPs, one of the things on my OAP is good intentions, bad choices, is discontinued from the jail, and I was told that I wouldn't be held accountable for that. The other one is tier 2, which is basically I've been writing to get in. I have that here. I've been writing to get in. Also, they told me that they're more so focusing on people that's supposed to be going home, closer to going home and stuff like that. So I was waiting to get in there, but while waiting, I've been doing.
I got the certificates. We have a lot of your documentation.
Yeah,
I have certificates from your other programs.
I've been
Maybe
doing
I'm
programs.
gonna ask you about them too.
Okay, I've been
Alright,
doing, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying, the fact that I couldn't get into, tier 2 addiction services or good intentions, bad choices, I've been doing groups with the counselors here, coping skills, recovery, addiction recovery, and also, self-building and belief groups. So I've been trying to do that in the meantime while awaiting my program for my OAP.
Oh, good, okay. Well, that's good, that's very positive, because, you know, your offense is pretty serious. We always take weapon offenses very serious.
Yeah.
Right, so tell me, what were you doing with a pistol in your car?
Honestly, it's no
And a
excuse.
stolen pistol?
It's no excuse. I bought it for protection. I was new out to Connecticut and Waterbury. I'm not violent. I didn't want to harm anybody. I just got into a simple argument and things just went left from there. I have no excuse for it.
No, but
Honestly.
you showed the pistol. You got to an argument, but showed the pistol. Right?
Correct.
You pulled the pistol out, you showed it, you threatened to do something with it, right?
Absolutely. My
Yeah.
anger was just misplaced at the time.
Just as quickly, you could have used the pistol and killed somebody.
Absolutely not. That's not in my heart, sir.
Well, it was in your heart. It was in your heart to pull the pistol up and show it, and threaten somebody with it.
I understand, and I take full
What if the
responsibility.
other individual had a pistol?
That's
Right?
true. Yeah.
So anyway, so tell me a little bit about the programs you have taken.
I've been working. That's on my OAP too. I've been working in the kitchen since I've been out of medical when I first got here. I've been doing business classes. I've been in school full time. I've been doing anger management, coping skills, like I said, recovery. I've been doing everything I can just to basically get myself in order for reentry.
Okay, well, those are all positive things, but just share with me what you've learned in terms of what skills you're going to have now when you go outside, so that when you transition out, you can act accordingly.
I've learned that I have to stop and think about situations before acting out. I've learned that it starts with me. I have to take accountability. I have to love myself. I have to show love to others. I have to learn how to be more, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know how to explain it. I just know that I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. And I've learned a lot from it. I have. I've been trying. I've been trying to be the best model inmate I could be. I've been trying to stay positive. I've been staying out of trouble. At home, I really don't even get into trouble. I was on my way to work when the incident happened. I work. I'm trying to finish school. I'm trying to make my family, I'm trying to make my family as proud of me as they could be, because I've made mistakes that hurt them and myself also, and they're my biggest supporters. I've learned just to be me. And I've learned to be closer to God and understand that in order to be successful in life and do the things I have to do, I have to take initiative. I have to take accountability. And I have to understand that life comes with choices. And the choices that we make lead to either positive consequences or negative consequences. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that information. I mean, I'm still concerned. Your priors were a couple of robbery charges in another state.
Correct.
Go ahead.
I was young at that time. I was probably about 15, 16 when that happened. I take accountability for that also. But ever since being released, I haven't been in trouble in over 7 years due to this, until this happened. But I was a productive member of society when I was home.
How could you have handled this differently?
My anger was misplaced. I could have kept driving and being on my way to work. I was already late. I could have just kept it going, ignored her and just kept going.
You never made it to work.
No, sir, I didn't.
Well, and then you got into an accident, right?
Correct.
Then you ran. You didn't stay around. And I understand because you had an illegal gun.
Right.
How did you get possession of the gun?
I bought it for protection when I first moved out there.
From where?
Cause I'm from New York, but I moved to Connecticut, Waterbury, where it happened, and I bought it from somebody out there for protection.
Well, I mean, you've done some good things. I mean, you've got some college behind you, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely, sir.
you've done some good things. Is your plan to get into business?
Yes, business and marketing. I do a lot of nonprofit work at home also, like when I first came home from my incarceration from the robberies, a nonprofit group called NADA, they helped me out a lot. And ever since then, I've been getting everybody I can that needs help in the reentry, gaining employment, schooling, things of that sort. I've helped over like 300 people do that within New York City. So that's something I take pride in also.
And in terms of your support network, if you were to be released, what's your support network look like?
It's huge actually. My family supports me. They're extremely disappointed in me because I was doing so well. I had a lot going on, and just like them, just like me, I couldn't believe that everything was happening that unfolded. But I have family, I have my pastor that still keeps in contact with me. I have a network, rider security. I have supervisors that still keep in contact with me. I'm supposed to going back to construction. That's what I was doing before. I'm supposed to be going back into construction when I go back home. I have a job waiting for me. Hopefully, if I'm granted parole soon, and yeah, I just have family and well-knitted friends that's overall supporting me and ready for me to re-entry back into society.
Tell me about your release plan. Do you want to go back to your aunt?
Yes.
You live with your aunt?
Correct.
She's in New York.
Yes.
You want to go back to New York?
Correct. I was out here in a relationship that just didn't go well, and honestly, if I was never out here, I wouldn't be in this situation. I wouldn't feel the need to have a gun. I wouldn't have been going through everything I was going through at the time. So I feel like going back to New York would be my best bet. My aunt has been a huge supporter throughout my life. My mother as well, but
All your family's in New York?
Correct, sir.
Oh.
I have no support out here. Yeah, my aunt has been a huge support throughout my whole life. She's gonna help me get back into college. She's gonna make sure that I stay out of trouble. There's no such thing as me being with my aunt and doing the things that I've done to land it here, because I wasn't raised like that, honestly, and I'm just in utter disbelief and disappointed in myself every time that I speak to them. So
yeah. Okay, so you have taken your tier programs?
I've been writing to get in. They told me that right now they were waiting to deal with people that's going home immediately. I guess they didn't know. I didn't know I was going to parole until the officer came to see me on the 6th. So I don't know if I knew before that I was going to be up for parole soon, maybe they would have put me in there, but I've been writing since I've been here.
You did say that early on. Sorry. Yeah, I see that question. You did say that early on.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I don't have any additional questions at this point.
Thank you. Ms. Page.
Thank you for answering my questions.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So Ms. Lord, one of the things that we do here is review these files thoroughly. And one of, I think that you intentionally leave information out thinking that we're going to overlook it or not realize that it's there. For example, you said to my colleague that you were working in the kitchen. Weren't you fired?
Yeah, it was a miscommunication. I'm going back to work, and yesterday I even got a, can I bring this up closer to the camera?
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yesterday you got what?
Offender working performance program sheet from the job, from the kitchen. I just got it yesterday, so I wasn't able to send it out with the rest of the paperwork, but, my attentive initiative, productivity, and attitude overall, I got good and excellent. And one of the staff members even, well, two of the supervisors even wrote a statement for me also. So it was a miscommunication why I got fired from the kitchen, but I'm going back once the ticket is cleared.
Right, but you're still not in. And so I would have liked to hear you say that without me having to ask you about being removed. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, even when the officer interviewed you about this offense, you said absolutely nothing about the motor vehicle accident. And this lady's car, or the person in the car, their car was on the roof. Like, was this a case of road rage?
Yeah, at the moment, yeah, I believe so, yes.
I mean, you threatened a pregnant woman. Like, I just.
Oh, I didn't know she was pregnant, ma'am. I don't know the victim I don't know the lady at all.
She was pregnant, and she said if you were talking about her being in your lane, that's the reason to pull a gun out on someone?
Absolutely not, ma'am. It was a little more to it than that. It was a little more dialogue than that, back and forth. But like I said,
listen. I'm not going to say that I'm the safest or the best driver in the world, but I've yet to be so angry with someone for cutting me off or following too closely and pull up on the side of them and point a gun and say, I'm going to kill you. I've yet to experience that.
I didn't threaten. I don't believe I ever threatened to kill her. However, I was upset. My anger was misplaced, and I had a lot going on that day. However, I learned how to cope with my anger and things to do so I can avoid things like this in the future.
This is very, very concerning. And this robbery second that you talked to my colleague about, what did you have a weapon then?
No, ma'am.
Why did they give you a robbery second?
Because my co-defendant had attacked the person. That's why. But I didn't have any weapons. I'm not a violent person, honestly. I'd rather try to talk things through. However, that day, my anger was just misplaced and I was going through a lot.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's how people get killed, though. And that's the truth, When we're out of control with our emotions, we don't know what will transpire. Being out of control and being emotional is a recipe for disaster. I don't know. Especially when you put a weapon in your hand. So I appreciate your speaking with me, Ms. Lord. Good luck to you, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Yeah, Ms. Lord, I agree with my colleagues. This was a disturbing case. People don't want to worry when they're driving their cars about someone pulling out a gun, and you shouldn't have a gun unless you're prepared to use it. I don't understand why you would drive around with a gun and you say, oh, I would never use it. That's not me. Then why have it at all? I mean, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to protect yourself if you're not going to use it?
Honestly, I don't know, to scare people away, but if it was in need for me to do that, but honestly, that's not my heart to take anybody's life or to put it in danger.
Yeah. So, you really shouldn't have a gun, and you can't have a gun because, you have a criminal record.
Correct.
So that was illegal anyway. I think there's still work to be done here. You tend to minimize your behaviors. Do you know what that means?
Correct.
Make them less than they really are. And it seems like you make excuses a lot. You were fired from your job. Were you using drugs? Did we go over this already? Were you using drugs at the time of the offense?
No, ma'am. They gave me sobriety tests. No, I wasn't under their influence.
So why were there drugs in your car?
It was marijuana.
No, it wasn't. The police report said you had cocaine and amphetamines in your car.
Well, that wasn't my car, but I didn't have no idea of that. I don't use cocaine. I've never, that's not
For you driving.
my ex at the time.
You were driving your ex's car.
Well, she's my ex now. That was my girlfriend at the time. Sorry.
You were driving your girlfriend's car.
Correct.
Was she in the car with you?
No, ma'am.
So what you're implying then is that she left drugs in the car.
That's the only other way because I don't deal with cocaine or
So
whatever else.
still a poor choice then. First of all, when I get into one of my friends' cars, I don't have to worry that there's drugs in there because I know who I'm with and I know what they have in their car. Right? So it's your responsibility if you're driving the car and the drugs are in there. So I mean, I don't know. But you're being completely, I don't know. But I think there's still work to be done. So give us a few minutes to talk about your case and we're going to get back to you shortly with our decision. You can listen to our deliberation. Where did we start?
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Mr. Rodriguez, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would agree. I would agree that Ms. Lord tends to minimize a lot of her situations. I mean, there's some good things that she's doing, absolutely. But I do think that there's still some work that she needs to be able to get done. And I don't know about the good intentions, bad choices not being at your organization. We can find out at some point.
There's so many programs there.
Yeah, there are other programs, that I'm sure she can take a look at and do. I mean, I would be willing to bring her back. Is that her EOS date is not till
Okay.
2025? Is it September 4th, 2025?
25, yeah.
And give her an opportunity to maybe do some additional programming. I think because there are some good things that she is doing. She's got some support when she does get out
Okay.
with her family. That's kind of where I'm at this particular point. Dial and here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also have Ms. Lord denied. I do not have her coming back for many of the reasons that Mr. Rodriguez has said, which she has support in the community. She wants to go back to New York. And she hasn't completed any programs. And, I am not sure that, I'm going to say that I just would not support her coming back for another hearing. I just do not like the nature of the offense. I don't like the criminal history. She's been down for, it looks like 9 or 11 months at most, and she has 3 disciplinary infractions. So I would not support her coming.
All right. I'll give her another shot at this. I think, maybe just speaking with us, will give her the motivation to work harder on herself. And she does have a flat sentence, so I think she could benefit from a little bit of supervision in the community, wherever that might be. But let's see if she could stay out of trouble and take a bunch of programs in the next, say, 6 months.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
All right, so in the matter of Tanora Lord, inmate number 440-315, I'll make a motion to deny parole at this time for the following reasons: inadequate program participation and poor institutional adjustment.
Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Well, okay, we're going to rehear this case in 6 months. So that gets us to September of 2024 with the recommendation that you avoid any more disciplinary reports and that you participate in positive programs, as many as you can.
Okay.
Okay?
This is
Thank
you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Do you want to go on the record as being opposed? Okay, to you'll note for the record, she's opposed. It's a unanimous decision, but she's opposed to a rehear. All right, do you have questions?
So I will be coming back in 6 months in front of parole.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's see what you can do in those 6 months, okay?
All right. Thank
Do
you.
whatever programming you can.
Thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Tanora Lord, inmate number 440-315.
Well, okay, I won't hold you in suspense because some of you may have guessed that. Here, come say hi. Some of you may have guessed that she is back. We fast forward. Those 6 months went by fast. And how do you think she did? Do you think she's done everything that she needs to do to get parole? Has she been able to get her anger under control? Let's jump in and find out, and then I'll unpack it with the details at the end.
The plan has been reviewed and shows that she has completed anger management, has a job, and is currently participating in Tier 2. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment, one of the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the low range. This is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Good afternoon. I'm a work in progress. I'm taking things day at a time. I'm learning as I grow. Being here has taught me, it's been bittersweet. It's taught me many things, and it's opened my eyes to a lot of things that I need to correct, a lot of things that I have already corrected. And at this time, I'm just hoping parole is on the table considerably, or I'll be given a chance to redeem myself and show what more I can do. Thank you, guys.
All right, Ms. Lord, you've been here before. I was on your last panel in March, so you know how this works. We're going to ask you questions, deliberate, and give you our decision. So I'm a little disappointed that in March, we gave you a denial and a rehearing in 6 months. And since then, you've received a disciplinary report for interfering with safety and security for an argument and a disciplinary report for fighting.
Correct, yes. Like I said, prior to, it's a situation on the compound that all the staff is aware of. I've been attacked twice already by the same person, and I've done nothing. There's no record of that, which is bogus to me. There's no record that I was attacked and I walked away without doing anything. This last time I was spit on and I lost self-control.
Well, where do you stand with this other inmate now?
She went home.
Oh, okay. So the other party didn't get a disciplinary report.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
They did. Yeah,
But then finished her sentence.
correct.
Wow. Did you know she was about to finish her sentence? So
No,
basically,
ma'am.
she had nothing to lose.
Right. No, ma'am, I didn't know that. This is, like I said, it's been an occurring thing that I've been avoiding. I've been asking to be moved, but it's but so much they want to do, they can do. There's like no room for growth here. I've tried, but I got spit directly in my face.
Okay, so
And-
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
In that moment, did you know, okay, she just spit on me, I'm gonna hit her, and then I'm gonna get a ticket and I have to go before the parole board again.
No, I was
That's
spit.
next month.
No,
Go ahead.
I would. No, I didn't really think of it like that. After I was spit on, I was attacked right afterwards. So only thing that was in my mind was to defend myself at this point. How many times I'm gonna
Okay, by the same person?
correct?
You were
Mind
spit
you-
on and attacked by the person and you were defending yourself.
Correct. From somebody who's attacked me before, and I
What's
didn't
it? What's this person's name?
Malkeisha Smith.
What is it?
Malkeisha Smith.
Malkeisha Smith.
Yes.
Let's try to look her up. See what kind of ticket she has. Malkeisha, I don't know. I mean,
And I think I'm not sure how to spell it.
well, let's see. All right. So right after you got the ticket, what about the interfering with safety and security ticket?
That's the same with the same person. With the same person. I was in
You were
class.
arguing with the same person and go ahead.
Well, I was indulging at first. I let it go. She was boisterous. She was making a scene. The teacher told her to leave class. The teachers felt like she messed up count because of the situation. I didn't even know I had a ticket. I woke up the next morning. The lieutenant apologized, like, I'm sorry, something happened in school yesterday. And I said, what happened in school? I was unaware of why I was going to SEG. And I found out it was due to the argument because the teacher said that she messed up count because of it.
It was because of the argument. So you were in anger management at the time you got that ticket.
I graduated anger management.
No, you finished anger management on 5/31. Right
Okay.
after you got that ticket. So did you learn anything from anger management is my question.
Absolutely. I feel like that situation, I left the situation alone. I wasn't even arguing. Maybe the way I carry myself is a little more rough and like I'm a little more vocal than usual, but I wasn't even arguing. I just let her know I didn't want to be bothered. I'm not sitting. I let the teacher know I didn't want to sit over here. I moved my seat. She's still going, antagonizing. I let it go. The teacher messed up the count though, and that's the reason why she said she sent us to SEG.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm touching your computer.
That's
Yeah, same exact ticket. Jeez. Okay. Wow, I'm here. Sorry. Discharge 9/6/24. Okay. All right, thank you. So your story checks out because she got the same tickets. Who the aggressor was, we'll never know, right? And you know, of course, she would probably say the same thing about you. But we did verify that you're telling us the truth about this, the other individual, and the what was the issue anyway? What's the problem?
Honestly, I'm not sure where it stemmed from. Where if it's the group of people she hangs around, I don't know what it is.
Did you have a problem with somebody that she was hanging out with?
I wouldn't say a problem, but like I don't know, it's just different personalities just don't click with each other. Like I try to stay out the way and mind my business, honestly.
All right,
And
so listen, I want you to answer a question for me. What happens when you get out, if you're walking down the street and someone spits on you and you hit them?
I would most likely be arrested. However,
Okay.
I feel like that's the probability of that happening. I wouldn't be around anybody that would want to spit on me unless, you know, maybe they got a mental something going on, opposed to being in here where I have to deal with these people and I have to be around these people. And I keep asking captain after captain and officer after officer to remove these people from around me and remove me from these people. I feel like that the chance of that happening wouldn't happen in the streets. Honestly, opposed to being in here.
Well, listen, the concerning part for me is you're here because of your temper, right? Your anger problem. That's why you're here.
Correct.
Because you pointed a gun at another driver. You shouldn't have a gun to begin with, and then you're threatening somebody, and the behavior seems to be continuing. So, the possibility of it happening on the outside, some kind of confrontation is very likely. You know, you make that choice when you have a road rage incident, whatever. You make the choice to engage or to drive away, or if someone confronts you and you make a choice, then am I going to stay and argue or get in a fight or walk away? Like it's all about
Correct.
your choices.
Correct. Can I just say something to that? However, in my defense, I feel like there's no record of me being attacked. Like
I got it.
There's no record of me being attacked before this and walking away, not attacking her back. And I got out of seg for it. I wasn't in trouble for it. There's no record of that. And I feel like that's unfair because I feel like I've done that due to the things I've learned in anger management. And in my defense, this is my first fighting ticket. My first fighting ticket.
So just we'll put the ticket aside, and I'm going back to your offenses and why you're here.
Right.
You know, regardless, you have to deal with situations better. You're almost done with the Tier 2 program, right? You finish next week?
Yep.
Okay. What have you learned from that program?
I basically just learned the do's and don'ts of why you use, why you shouldn't use, how it affects your mind, body, how it affects your way of thinking, the decisions that you make, and just the different ways to cope when I'm going through things instead of drugs and alcohol.
And what were you using?
Alcohol.
Do you have a problem with alcohol?
Yeah, that was it. And marijuana.
Okay. How often were you using alcohol?
Daily.
Daily. Okay. Okay. So what is your relapse prevention plan? How are we going to avoid drinking daily so we can function in other areas of our life and be successful?
Staying away from people, places, and things that trigger those addictions for me to want to drink or feel like I need to drink. I plan on just working out like I've been doing it here. Another stress reliever instead of running to alcohol. Reading. I picked up a lot of reading since I've been in here. So those are ways that I've been learning to cope with things when I'm feeling vulnerable.
Okay. What now? I don't know if we ever answered this. Why did you have the gun in the car?
Yeah, we did. I let you know it's because I just had moved out there and it was more so for protection than anything else.
Protection from what?
I lived in a terrible place in Connecticut in Waterbury. It was just a lot going on.
So should everybody in Waterbury carry a gun?
Absolutely not.
Were you selling drugs?
Selling drugs? No.
Okay. I don't know. Sometimes that's why people carry weapons. I mean,
No.
You know, I come to Waterbury every day and I don't carry a gun.
I understand.
Do you have a driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
It's valid?
At this time, it's suspended.
Right, then you don't have a driver's license. Okay. What's your plan for, you want to go back to New York? What are you gonna do in New York?
Well, I have work already out there for me from my previous jobs. I have employment already that I plan on going back to. And I have housing already situated, excuse me, situated for when I get back there also.
Your aunt, right? You want to live with your aunt?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
I just plan on being a good member of society, paying my dues, working hard every day to achieve the things that I want to achieve.
Okay.
I plan on going back to this program called NADAP. It's a nonprofit volunteering program where I help the at-risk youth and teens stay away from places like
What is
this.
it called again? A little slower.
NADAP, NADAP. It's in
What's it
Manhattan.
stand for?
Honestly, I don't know. Don't let me lie to you. It's on Lexington Avenue in Manhattan, and it helps at-risk youth, teens, and adults coming back into reentry, and it's another part of the program that helps them from that's on that path to coming into being incarcerated.
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope this time you can be successful. I mean, you had 2 full-time jobs at one point, right?
Correct. I plan on going back and doing the same thing.
What? Construction?
Yes.
And you're in the union? Is that right?
Yeah, local 237.
That's in New York. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Listen, you're almost 30 years old. This stuff has to stop.
I agree.
Okay. Ms. Turner?
So Ms. Lord, I listened to the recording of your prior hearing and I took some notes so that I wouldn't repeat myself. Listening to you talk to my colleague, I'm wondering, why were you moving to Waterbury?
I'm sorry?
Why were you moving to Waterbury?
Oh, the cost of living, it was just different. I had more space for less money than I was paying for in New York.
It's extremely unusual for us to see somebody get a DR while in the program that's supposed to help them deal with, regulating their emotions. And, the irony is that you got an excellent evaluation. So I'm kind of left scratching my head. What did you learn in that program that you could have used to handle this conflict without the consequences?
Honestly, I could have used the tools of me literally thinking before I act, which I totally didn't do. Also, I feel like it was more so of the spit than anything else. If I was just attacked physically with her hands, I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure I would have walked away. But I feel like it was the spit that had me I didn't register what was really happening until it was too late when I was on the floor getting handcuffed, about to go to RHU. So it was more so the fact that I have to think before I do things. That's definitely something I'm learning. I'm continuing to learn and work on. So I guess that's the thing that I could have used that I didn't.
Okay. So when you say think before you act, what does the thinking consist of?
If I do a quick replay of if I do this, that, or the third, what would be the consequences? Or if I walk away now, she'd be the one in trouble and I wouldn't. If maybe I didn't go to this group today, I probably wouldn't be in this situation. Just a whole bunch of different scenarios of how I should have handled myself opposed to how I did.
In anger management, did they talk about the fact that the intensity of the emotion in the moment lasts about 10 seconds? And that if you can tolerate that distress until it passes, then you can use your logical brain to guide your actions and reactions. Do they talk about?
Honestly, I'm not too sure if that was one of the exact lessons, but I definitely do remember going through a lesson with them saying that the intensity of your emotions don't last that long. I remember something that's such like the intensity of your emotions and your actions don't last that long, but the consequences do.
Yeah.
That was something I do remember learning in there.
There's a term in that field called distress tolerance. So, you can be uncomfortable and feel stress or distressed in the moment and be able to tolerate it so that you're not acting on your feelings, which usually doesn't play out well.
Correct.
Because you need your brain and your logic to be guiding your behavior. Otherwise, you get into trouble.
Yeah, correct. It's no lie there. But like I said, I'm a work in progress and I'm taking it day by day. I'm trying. And that's why I feel like even
I don't dispute that you're trying. I think that the crime that you're serving time for in and of itself is tremendously concerning. You have 5 years on the state's deadly weapon offender registry as a result of your choice to be in possession of a gun you were prohibited from having.
correct.
And for the rest of your life, you're prohibited from possessing firearms and ammunition under state and federal law. So going to New York doesn't change anything. You still can't have a gun.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I understand that. I don't want nothing to do with weapons at all.
And I guess it's possibly understanding that someone would feel unsafe and want a gun for protection. It's concerning that you knew you were prohibited from having it as a convicted felon and you acquired a gun anyway. But then, a situation of conflict, on the roads, which can happen so easily, people feeling like they got cut off or, that someone wasn't going fast enough for them. The choice to brandish that weapon and show it to another driver takes it from, a level 2 to a level 300. It just, you were young, you're still young. So I'm hoping that now that you've hit the point as we develop an age that your brain is fully developed, that you can make better decisions for yourself going forward, act less on impulse. But I can't imagine what I would go through, and I'm on the Connecticut interstates way more than I would like to be, if I looked over and the driver passing me was waving or pointing a firearm at me. That's horrifying. That things have gotten to that state in our civil society. So, I think you're certainly paying the price for the choice that you made to acquire the gun, to keep it in your car, to show it to somebody in a moment of anger. Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Pope. All right, give us a few minutes to discuss your case. We'll get back to you shortly with our decision. Okay, so this is a rehear. She was denied back in March and given 6 months to continue to work on herself. Unfortunately, we have these 2 disciplinary reports. We did receive an explanation. We're able to verify the other party did receive the exact same 2 disciplinary reports. She did take a couple new programs and has been You still have a job there?
Yeah, I have a letter from them, but I got it too late to be able to send it out.
What does it say?
It's just my performance and overall programming, and it says for my criteria, attendance, initiative, productivity, attitude, and overall is good. And then they wrote a thing here that inmate Lloyd has worked in our kitchen for some time now, over a year. She has demonstrated that she can follow direction and work well with others.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
What do you do in the kitchen?
everything. I cook, I clean, I serve the compound.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Hopefully this was a lesson. This whole
Absolutely.
experience for her, and she wants to go back to New York. She has a release plan, live with that, and get involved with the National Association of Drug Abuse Problems program there. Has never had an issue with working. She has a flat sentence, so I think she would benefit from a period of supervision through interstate. My vote would be to grant. Ms. Turner?
It would amount to about a year of supervision, and I think that's better given the serious nature of the crimes and their history. So I would agree to parole her to New York.
All right. Let's see. I have to interstate halfway house if needed. Mental health eval, no alcohol, no driving. Yeah. All right. In the matter of Tanora Lord, I'm number 440315. I'll move to grant parole effective today, September 20th, 2024, with the following additional conditions. You'll parole to the interstate unit for New York, halfway house placement if it's needed, a mental health evaluation and treatment if it's deemed necessary, no consumption of alcoholic beverages, and no driving without your parole officer's permission. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. We wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank
Keep
you.
working on yourself.
I
Thank
will.
you.
Thank you.
And they granted. I mean, this is something else. In Louisiana, you can't even have a parole hearing if you've had a write-up within 1 year. And actually, they just changed that rule a week ago at the time of this recording, 9/20. Now it has to be 3 years. This is the amazing thing about watching parole hearings in all these different states. Iowa, I don't think they can care less. They don't even talk about write-ups. And Connecticut, it's like you're in anger management program. You were told that you can get paroled if you can complete it. And you get 2 write-ups in the program, 2. And the parole board still paroles. Now, I give them credit for getting the other inmate's name and doing that due diligence on it. And I do get the idea that that inmate was completing her full-time sentence, so she had nothing to lose. And she, I do believe, instigated it and knew exactly what she was doing to get back at her nemesis. She knew she had a parole hearing. They knew those facts. And I watched other, YouTubers who've been in prison, and they'll always tell you, make sure no one finds out what your deal is, because if they do, if they know that you're getting out in a few months, they're going to mess with you. And she must have known. Or she, so it's, and I get that, but the bottom line is still you're locked up because you clearly have no self-control. And she was honest with it. She seemed to admit that, and I thought she was honest in the way she described it. She said, "Man, I lost it. I lost it when she spit at me, and if she didn't, I probably wouldn't have lost it." And I thought she was being honest in that moment. And she's saying in the streets, it wouldn't have happened. That what are the odds that someone would do that to me? There's just, I don't know. How do you feel about it? It's like, it's different. It's so different than what we're used to. And there's like some type of fundamental, I think you could drill it down if you want to and say, hey, this is your parole that's on the line. It's your life that's on the line. You know that you can't show up to that parole hearing with these tickets, and yet you were simply unable to control yourself. And it says a lot. I think it actually says everything you need to know. You can probably predict what will happen. We may see her again sometime soon for a revocation hearing, but maybe not. If she can change her place of people, things, and have no one instigate her and no one make her want to do something stupid, maybe we won't. But, you can see a track record of making bad decisions, buying a weapon when you can't even have one at that point. And it's funny with these sentences. In Connecticut, you can get 5 years just for owning a firearm without a permit. Like, like you can have a permit in 49 states of the United States of America and cross over from New York into Connecticut and get pulled over on the interstate and boom, 5 years in prison, according to the legislation, as a as a perfectly law-abiding citizen. And or you can be a felon, have an illegal weapon. Her charges are, let me just read it to you. Thank you, Sir Richard. And let me point out, thank you, Sir Richard, for connecting the dots on this again. As many of you know, he does that. So when the hearing came into the docket, he says, Mandoo, you did this hearing. It's from March. Here's a link to it. Here's it. And otherwise, you can't keep track. But in on Mandoo 1 and on the other channel, if you don't know, there are two channels. That one channel covers only Louisiana hearings. We have over 3,000 parole hearings there. I have a playlist called The Return Of, and that's where I put all the people that come back for a second time, whether it's a revocation, a second parole hearing. We're starting to get to that point with Connecticut. In the spreadsheet, I'm seeing many hearings that we're seeing a second and third. So should I create a playlist that's Return Of for all the states? Iowa, Utah, Connecticut. I don't think we'll see Illinois. We don't get enough. Vermont. Or should I have it separate states? So like a playlist for Return Of for Connecticut, another playlist for Return Of for Iowa. Let me know in the how you want me to handle this, or just no new playlist. But okay. So these are what her charges were: second-degree threatening, third-degree larceny, interfering with emergency call, 2 counts of criminal possession of a firearm, ammunition, defense weapon, carrying pistol without a permit, criminal possession of a pistol, stealing a firearm. So I don't know. I guess this is what they charged her with, because I guess the firearm was stolen. Illegal transfer of a pistol, possession of a weapon in a motor vehicle. Oh, illegal possession of a weapon. These are so redundant, yet they just like, yeah, we're gonna throw the fuck at you literally. 3 counts, first offense, possession of controlled substance. So here's the part where I think she lied, right? Because she said, I had no idea what you're talking about, but it's in there. It's in the charges. First degree threatening, first degree reckless endangerment, reckless driving, evading responsibility for physical injury, unsafe passing on the left side, disregarding traffic control signal, disobeying signal officer. They were pissed. You can see when they wrote those citations, they're like, let's get her for everything. And they end up doing a plea deal 3 years and 6 months, which I realize is a trend. Many inmates, it's a 3 year, 6 month deal. Like that's just what they like to do. And it doesn't seem she has a previous record here in Connecticut outside of this, which is interesting. I don't know why. Maybe is she from a different state? Is that why? But there you have it. There you have it. They paroled her. I'm wishing her the best. I am. But certain people, you know, if you have an anger problem, a temper problem, don't buy a weapon. And she's probably just lucky. She's really lucky that this is all she got out of it. Things could have been much worse, of course. Imagine you're driving the road and all of a sudden you're pregnant and you're going to work and there's a woman, a felon, flashing a gun at you. That's scary stuff. Avoid road rage if you can. It's not worth it. And with that, I'll let you go.
The thing is, even when the officer interviewed you about this offense, you said absolutely nothing about the motor vehicle accident. And this lady's car, or the person in the car, their car was on the roof. Like, was this a case of road rage?
Yeah. At the moment, yeah, I believe so. Yes.
I mean, you threatened a pregnant woman. Like, I just.
Oh, I didn't know she was pregnant, ma'am. I don't know the victim. I don't know the lady at all.
She was pregnant, and she said if you were talking about her being in your lane, that's the reason to pull a gun out on someone.
I think most of us have been in road rage incidents where maybe even things could have gotten out of hand. This woman ends up in the DOC because she decides to whip out a weapon, one that she owned illegally, as a matter of fact. Now, a very small percentage, maybe just 5%, might recall this hearing, and that's because we played it in June. There's a reason I'm coming back with it. If you already have seen it, feel free to skip ahead to the 24-minute mark, and you'll see why I'm bringing this back. With that, let's jump in.